Yes, good morning, guys. This is Guru Nagendra from Department of Mechanical Engineering, Global Academy of Technology. Today, in today's session, I'm going to take you through the applications of FEM for dynamic problems. Okay, so before we try to understand the applications of FEM in dynamic problems, I presume that you have undergone a course in vibrations, mechanical vibrations. You have a understanding of different what you call the systems of vibrating systems, whether it is a single degree freedom system, 2-degree freedom system, continuous system, and so on and so forth. And the importance of vibration, study of vibrations, natural frequency, resonance, different kinds of vibration analysis. In spite of it, I just want you to you to just go through the basics of vibration analysis. And apart from that, in a nutshell, I just want to speak about the importance of FEM first to begin with. So FEM is a numerical method to solve differential and integral equations. Okay, most of the physical systems can be represented by differential equations. Okay, take for example beams, Gaussian differential equations. You are all familiar from your strength of material course. It is going to describe the behavior of the beams. Okay, different kinds of beams, things like that. FEM can be used to analyze different types of physical problems. Okay, different types of engineering problems, maybe the mechanical engineering applications, electrical engineering applications, and so on and so forth. Okay, even in mechanical, you have heat transfer applications, structural applications, so on and so forth. In FEM, the region of interest is divided into number of elements. Okay, you will be discretizing it in simple elements. Differential equations are reduced to algebraic equations by using appropriate approximations for the variables. You are familiar with shape functions. Okay, then the variables can be in the form of in structural problems it will be displacements, temperatures, flux, okay, velocity, or the different kinds of elements in different applications. Boundary conditions very prominent in finite element analysis. So of any complexity can be applied very easily. You know the handling of boundary condition in structural problems, penalty approach, elimination approach, homogeneous boundary conditions, okay, things like that, right? So complicated geometries can also be can be carried out with finite element techniques, can be handled, okay, for in various problems. Material properties also do not pose much problems. You can solve problems on isotropic and isotropic composite materials and different kinds of neat type of materials, coupled problems, piezoelectric materials, so on and so forth. Hence, FEM has emerged as the most powerful and versatile tool in engineering analysis, even in today's context. Okay, so as you are familiar with design steps, analysis forms one of the crux of the design steps. Of the synthesis, you need to perform thorough engineering analysis in order to validate your design and also make sure your design is going to perform functionally better, okay, safely, satisfactorily in real-time conditions. So let me just go through the different kinds of analysis. That is the hem of affairs in structural analysis. We have linear structural analysis, non-linear structural analysis. To give an example of linear structural analysis, most of the problems we dealt in our UG courses, it comes under the purview of linear structural analysis, linear analysis within elastic limit. The behavior of the component is considered as linear. In case of plastic range, okay, it is called non-linear analysis. Most of the real-time problems do comes with non-linear properties. Okay, you cannot predict too much. Okay, so typically geometric non-linearity can be seen. Material non-linearity can be seen in elastomers and viscoelastic materials. Contact problems in cams and followers, gear problems. Okay, this typical stresses non-linear behavior. Okay, next comes vibration analysis. This is the topic of interest today. Okay, in this video, typical vibration analysis actually falls in the purview of different machine components, whether it's machine tools, different rotating machines, engines, structural members like bridges, vehicles, so on and so forth. Fatigue analysis. So in order to predict the life of the component and different kinds of cyclic loading, okay, when the load varies with the time, okay, not constant, okay, we call it as the fatigue analysis. Okay, there is static analysis, there is also fatigue analysis, try to understand the difference. Okay, endurance is the criteria of failure in fatigue analysis. You might have solved various problems in your UG courses in design on fatigue analysis. Basically, most of the loading is very dynamic in nature. Not to consider the effect of it, you need to perform fatigue analysis. FEM is widely used to perform fatigue analysis. Okay, not even predict the the behavior, the fatigue behavior, and also the presence of cavities, notches, and its effect. Okay, origin of cracks, how it propagates, and things like that. Next, heat transfer analysis is one of the very important applications in mechanical engineering field. Deals with a lot of thermal devices, engine components, refrigeration and air conditioning systems, heat exchanger parts. Wherever you notice the temperature effect coming into picture, we perform heat transfer analysis. So we'll move on to the broad spectrum of analysis that is being carried out in FEA. It falls under two categories: static analysis and dynamic analysis. In static analysis, we assume that the load is constant on the body, okay, with respect to time. It does not vary with passage of time. Most of the problems in our classes, in our academics, we also deal with kinds of static strength problems, where in case of strength of materials, might be you might have solved a lot of numericals falling under the category of static strength, where you evaluate the load bearing capability of the given structure, okay, given machine component. This is all about static analysis. We can even perform AND calculations, and FE as a tool is widely used to perform static analysis. Now comes the dynamic analysis. This is a very important area where we assume that load is not constant, okay? It is varying with the time. So the time factor comes into picture. We assume that load is actually varying with the time. You will not see the constant load being acting on the machine component. So in such scenarios, the component has to, how it behaves, it has to sustain such kinds of dynamic load, how it responds to the dynamic conditions. Then we have to perform dynamic analysis. Time variation is very, very important. Whenever the time comes into picture, okay, the dynamic analysis plays an important role. The structure should not only be strong from static strength point of view, it should be also strong from dynamic point of view. The variations of the time can be in milliseconds to hours or days also. Take for example, I'll give you a live example. You have seen the Bandra Worli C-Link, okay? It's connect two suburbs in Mumbai. It's one of the marvelous structure. You can see the amount of load acting on it, okay? Structural loads, obviously static loads, it has to bear the various kinds of loads, okay? It is designed, the cross sections are designed to bear the static, loadings. We call it based on the static strength. Apart from that, you can see the wind blowing across the sea coast, the vehicle movements on the Bandra Worli C-Link. It will not be constant with the passage of the day. It continuously varies. There is a lot of other, effects on this particular bridge. Okay, it can be a gust loads. So every aspect of this dynamic load, cyclonic storms, you might have heard recently the cyclonic storm, hitting the Mumbai coast, and this is one of the structure which has to, withstand such kinds of unpredictable, dynamic loads. So obviously, this structure has been designed, commissioned to withstand both static and dynamic, loads that is being acting on this particular structure before they are commissioned. Okay, so there are lots of applications. Typically in various machineries, you can see rotating machines, aero engines. Wherever you switch on the machine and this machine is on, there is obviously the vibration effects. Okay, there are also problems where you are trying to minimize the noise in various applications, maybe in the auditorium design, vehicle design. So there all you will see the effect of dynamic analysis. Okay, so typical examples I just give you is earthquake simulations. Okay, shake tables are widely used in aircraft simulations, structure, buildings. Before they build, they have to do the experimental earthquake simulation. Apart from that, FE as a tool can be used to simulate earthquakes, gust wind load simulations on aircraft, ground excitations on vehicles. All these kinds of analysis can be perform. This is a very, very important, students, in order to appreciate this particular topic, the effect of dynamic analysis and the importance of dynamic analysis on various engineering components. Now coming back to some of the what do you call the graphical representation of these vibrations. Basically, it has an amplitude, that is the response of the vibratory system, okay, with respect to time. You can see a steady state response here, constant amplitude, it's a sinusoidal effect, input, okay, which is going to act on the machine member. It's very, harmonic, we call it as. So steady state vibrations, typically in machine members, you see steady state vibrations, where in case of, damping being provided, you will see the response gradually diminishing with the passage of time. We call it as transient converging type of, curves can be seen, okay. So displacements is taken on y-axis, the response with respect to time, you can see very high displacements and very low displacement as the vibration dies down. There is frequency domain, time domain curves here, frequency domain curves. You can see the peak of a particular frequency curve. Okay, here is another very important classic examples of random vibration, where you cannot predict what will be the response of the particular structure of the member due to these kinds of inputs. Okay, random vibrations, erratic response. You can see these kinds of earthquakes and other phenomenon leading to random vibration. Very high peaks you will notice, low peaks, high peaks, and things like that. You can see these classic practical examples in various machine applications. Okay, study the response of it. Now coming back to the next session, next particular, this one continuation of the previous, introduction to vibration. Let us try to understand the various vibrating parameters that is widely used to study vibration. Okay, as discussed in the above example, when the loads vary with time, mass and acceleration effects come into picture. These two things are very important physical, terms, mass and acceleration effects. We call it as inertia effects. Okay, any body with elasticity and mass associated with it, when you disturb such bodies and suddenly you release the disturbing force, it tends to vibrate about its equilibrium position. Typical simple pendulum, you just disturb it and it oscillates to one particular position called equilibrium position, and the oscillation dies down with passage of time. Check a pendulum and simply disturb and take out the disturbing force. The pendulum simply oscillates. After a certain interval of time, it is going to come back to its original position. This periodic motion due to restoration of strain energy is called free vibration. Continuously oscillates and it comes back to its original position due to restoration of strain energy. The frequency of the vibration is called natural frequency. This is one of the physics terms you might have used from your school days. Natural frequency. And the displacement from equilibrium position is called amplitude. That is the maximum displacement that is going to occur in a particular scenario for a given component is your amplitude of vibrations. Okay, very high. You might have seen this the previous curves. These are displacements. Okay, more the displacement called as amplitude of vibration. These are terminologies one should be familiar with. So free vibration analysis plays a very important role to begin with, to understand the behavior of the material or the components under dynamic loading conditions. Typical what you call the vibratory system is depicted by spring mass damper system, a single degree of freedom system. Mass is where you will see the inertia effect. Okay, then spring is where you have the energy effect, where it stores the energy. When you disturb the mass, the energy is stored in the spring. Okay, and the same energy is dissipated using damper. It's very, very important. You can imagine an application where you have suspension system of your automobiles, where you'll have spring, damper, okay, in tandem with the mass of your vehicle. Includes the mass of the vehicle and includes the passenger and other goods. Okay, so spring mass damper system comprises of a typical vibrating system. Okay, you can see different types of damping. Damping is basically used to die down the vibrations, you bring down the vibrations quickly as possible. It plays a very important role under resonant conditions. All of you are familiar with resonance. Resonance is a phenomenon where you see the natural frequency coinciding with the excitation frequency or the external frequency. Any body with elasticity and mass, as I said, will have some natural frequency. If that frequency closely comes in contact with the excitation frequency, there will be high amplitude of vibration. A lot of machine components, structural components do fail because of this kind of resonance phenomenon. Okay, here is a 3 important components. Sometimes we also ignore the effect of damping due to ease of analysis, and also its contribution is close to 0.05, what you call zeta, C by CC, that 5% contribution. So if you ignore it, the analysis will be closely realistic. Okay, especially in resonant condition, damping do play an important role. Okay, spring force. Okay, and the what do you call it as the spring force? What we see is always proportional to the displacement. The mass, the inertia effect is always proportional to acceleration. So mx double dot. What do you call this equation? You know from your vibration course, equation of motion. It is the equation of motion, mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx equals 0. This kx is the spring force. This is damping force. This is inertia force. Okay, inertia effect. So this is proportional to the acceleration. Acceleration is the second order derivative of the displacement. Okay, first order derivative is the velocity. You are familiar with change in displacement with respect to time is velocity. Change in velocity with respect to time is your acceleration. Okay, so kx equals 0 for free vibration cases. If it is f naught sine omega t, some impressed force. We assume generally harmonic force. Realistically, you might always not see harmonic force. Harmonic force is a periodic force, no doubt about it. But all periodic motions, okay, are not harmonic in nature. You can have random, different kinds of inputs you can see. Okay, in case of real vibration scenario. Okay, so mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx equals 0. If you continue, neglecting the effect of damping for ease of analysis, you can remove cx dot. The equation of motion remains simply for an undamped free vibration, mx double dot plus kx equals 0. Or if you simplify further, it will be x double dot plus k by m into x equals 0. If you just equate it to a simple harmonic motion for ease of analysis, it will be x double dot plus omega n square x equals 0 for a simple harmonic motion of a sin omega t or a cos omega t. So if you compare this equation with the previous one, the omega n term, omega n square, will be equal to k by m, the stiffness and mass of the structure, mass of the member. This is where your passive vibration control is widely used. You can play with stiffness and mass, control the stiffness and mass, reduce or increase the stiffness and mass. Thereby you can, vary the natural frequency. Therefore, omega n is root of k by n rads per second, or your circular natural frequency, we call it. Or simply the frequency is in hertz, 1 by 2 pi root of k by n. Stiffness, very, very important in passive vibration. Mass, okay, play with this in order to, alter the natural frequency. A very important phenomenon which you need to understand in case of vibration control, okay, and vibration analysis. In the next session or the next video, I'll be discussing about how to formulate the equation of motion, okay, using Lagrangian infinite element method, right? Thank you very much, guys.